Push the button, Frank.
We are live.
We're live.
How we doing?
Smooth, how you doing today, brother?
Doing good, man. Excited to be here with you, man. I got the game here. Hopefully the Texans are putting up a little bit of a fight.
Yeah.
And just excited for episode 2 of our new pod. And the premise of the show, right, is can you change my mind? Either one of us were gonna play the person that has the idea or the premise, and
the opinionated,
right, and have someone come in from our Giants community or New York sports-centric community just to kind of talk the opposite. This topic of should we have essentially traded or gone all in for whether it was the receivers that were available, Jerry Jeudy, Judy Jetson, Brandon Cooks, other folks that were available, Chase Claypool.
Apparently, Brandon Cooks thought he should have been traded.
Right. And I think also, too, there wasn't a consensus. I saw a couple lunatics initially that were like, oh, you gotta have the Giants have to go all in. They have to go all in for a receiver. How are we going to be able to evaluate Daniel Jones if we don't give him a number one? Like all that stuff. Essentially that was the narrative that I saw. I don't know if you saw anything different, but
yeah, I saw the same thing, man. It's just lunatics. Can we? Speaking of lunatics, well, first of all, the reason we're doing it like this tonight is that nobody wanted to come on and debate me because apparently I am a lunatic, and I scared the hell out of a lot of people Tuesday night on New York Revival. And
I missed that one.
Also, might be sued for copyright infringement. I was just imitation is this a serious form of flattery, Rob? That's all I'm going to say. It's and also I have nothing, so you're not going to litigate me at all. So, yeah, I came out as R0 Beard and completely lost my mind.
I love it
about the trade deadline, and then this morning's insanity where. Gridiron Media apparently thought it'd be a good idea to compare Joe Shane to Dave Gettleman.
That was a pretty good one. I saw that too.
Since it's a bye week and we really have nothing to talk about, Giants Twitter went nuts once again. So
I did see that.
Here we are. And just it was a mess. It was an absolute and total mess.
Yeah, and again, like we wanted this to be like a weekly thing where it was like, hey, we have a very specific topic, and we're going to stick to it, and we'll throw in a couple of barbershop or chopping wood type stuff. But when we're in the absence of a consensus from myself or Sarge, we were like, let's just go on and bring on some people that we are, and drink a little bit, and bring on some people for just a healthy conversation. I have some really we'll have a couple guests we're going to bring on simultaneously, just so we can kind of get a couple different point of views here in about 30 seconds. And I just wanted to kind of preface that because I don't want someone to be watching and be like, hey, I thought there was going to be a debate. But no, we're not going to do that. Not tonight. We are going to, I'm sure, debate topics kind of on the fly. I have a really cool question for everybody that I'm going to throw out there.
I can't wait.
It'll be one of the first things we talk about, just to give us a break from the Giants-centric things. Obviously, we have our logo. We're very Giants-heavy, even though I'm supporting Hendon Hooker today. I'll get into that here in a second. Why don't we just get going here? Let me bring in a couple of gentlemen who are joining us on Can You Change My Mind? Choppin' Wood edition. And first, in no particular order, just in how they entered the studio, I'm going to bring in Mason. I believe Mason's in North Carolina too, a fellow North Carolinian. We'll kind of get confirmation on that. So I'm going to add him to the stream as we go now. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good, man. What's going on, Mason?
Clear.
Thanks for jumping in.
No worries, man. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. But yeah, I live in Greater Metro Charlotte. I'm actually right over the border in Fort Mill. So
okay, yep, another Giants South. I like it. And we're gonna get to your intro here in a second. But without further ado, I want to bring in another gentleman that has a beautiful beard. I apologize, Mason. You do not have the follicles on your face like we do.
I wish I could, man.
But it's not a prerequisite. It's preferred, but it is not a prerequisite. So
I mean, if only we had a guy who's good with graphics and stuff, we could.
I know
put one on in post.
At some point, if we make it, if we make it, guys, we'll bring in a graphics guy and we'll put a beard on.
I'm Latino. I don't have the Antonio Banderas accent. I don't have the olive skin, but thank God I don't dance like a white boy.
I love it, man. See, look, what nationality are you? I don't want to go on a tangent.
Originally from Panama, Nicaragua.
Okay, I'm Cuban, so we got that. We have the Latin boys on today. I love it.
My grandparents are from my paternal grandparent from Nicaragua. So
holy cow, Monty,
yeah, man.
You're getting brought into something, man. ¿Hablas español? No, Monty, I'm gonna bring you in. Yep, let's go. Oh, what's up, big dog?
I got no Spanish. I got the beard, but
nada.
What's going on, guys?
I don't speak a lick of Spanish either, man. I have trouble ordering at Taco Bell.
I took French in high school, so I don't even have that.
That's funny, man. No, I appreciate you, Monty. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate everyone's kind of perspective on Giants Twitter. I shouldn't say everyone, most everyone. Although it would be fun to have some of the psychopaths on every once in a while, just to kind of.
I think that would make for a great show. Let's bring like Fisk and some of the real nut jobs.
Okay, so that's my first question. And this is off the cuff. I'm gonna go. I don't want anybody off of Twitter. First off, I think their content, as crazy as it is totally kind of fascinating in an incredible psychological profile of kind of where they go in different parts. So if you had to pick one person to have on a show of your own or bring on a podcast like this, that's in Giants content creator or Twitter, who would it be? Sarge, you're first.
Oh, geez. That's tough, man.
Good or bad?
Good or bad?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, you know what? Somebody I'd love to have on the show is Mr. Chicken. I think Mr. Chicken's got like some great takes, and the guy never he kills you with truth, man. He hits you with logic and truth, and all of his takes make a ton of sense. And when people just kind of fly off the handle, he's like, "All right, I'm done. I'm not getting into this with you." So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
He's probably like one of the first guys I started following outside of like the podcast crew, like Justin and Bobby and Talking Giants and Ethan and Weiss, NYG Daily, those guys.
Okay, that's a good one.
Chicken.
I like that one.
I like that dude a lot.
Okay, what about you, Mason?
Man, I would have to go old school, like MTV Deathmatch kind of thing. I would want to have like Charlie and freaking Pizzle.
Ooh, good.
Just going at each other. That would just be freaking hysterical. Like, let's get it on. What was it? Les Miles, right? Those two just go at it.
Wasn't that a great show?
Yeah,
not to sidetrack. Good Lord,
pure comedy, man. That would be.
I love
hilarious.
that.
So that's what I would go with it. I would want to just fucking blow it up.
I love it. The man likes chaos. I'm a big fan. What about you, Monty?
I'm gonna have to go ahead and say, he was a lightning rod for a lot of the Gettleman years for a lot of people. But from being around this area, I've had the pleasure to meet him a few times. But Will, 27, I know people got a lot of bad taste about him, but I know everyone who I've ever talked to has ever actually met Will. Like, he's like a super knowledgeable Giants fan. He's super easy to get along with. So I think the more people talk to him, he's a generally good dude. But man, people fucking get riled up about Will on Twitter. So get talked to him in this environment. I think
it's the Saquon take. I think it
Yeah.
is. And if you really break it down, it's not that he doesn't like Saquon Barkley. It is he didn't like the pick itself. But the way he words it is he never separates the two. Like, I don't like the Leonard Williams deal at all. Like, the trade, the tag, the contract, all of it was a giant mess. But I love the fact that Leo is on this team.
Yeah.
Sure.
But what we gave up to get him was ridiculous. And that just goes back into the earlier Dave Gettleman conversation that I don't want to get back into.
Yeah, no, I've literally had multiple like direct message conversations with Will, like not on Twitter, like, you know, like just because you're right, Monty. Like I was just like, I literally one time was like went to his not defense, but like went to him and was like, bro, like what did you say to get everyone so fucking riled up? And it was, you know, a lot of people think he's taken some of the Saquon stuff and kind of spiraled that into a whole other level. Like before the season started, when Saquon was, you know, talking about, well, fuck everybody, I'm just going to go crazy. Like he was just like, wow, that's very unbecoming. And I was just like, really, bro? Like, I don't know, like his whole angle on that. Like I get the I don't like running backs at a number 2 pick, whatever. But at the same time, it's also fun to watch everyone jump all over him when Saquon goes for like $170 and 2 touchdowns.
And just because tweet him constantly.
Yeah. Well, I tweeted because Momo did a thing today where he took the Kyrie stuff where he was apologizing for being an anti-Semite, but also saying stuff like, how can I be an anti-Semite if I know where I came from? So I tweeted and it said, well, how can Will be a Saquon Barkley hater when he knows where he came from? Like, so it's just it, you know, like, but that's Saquon. But you know, like I took that from someone. Full disclosure, I didn't make that up. I just thought it was funny. Like I was just like, I'm gonna spin this on the Giants. Clearly,
Yeah.
But I think that's a real good one for me. It would definitely be Cop because he's so. His word usage is just it's epic to such a degree that it cracks me up. Like he made a comment to me the other day, like today, essentially he said, well, it's people like me that make it you know, like so you can, you know, like have fun in life or something weird. And I was just like, or like live life to the fullest. And I was like, why? Because you have shitty takes? Like what does that have to do with like living life to the fullest? Like it was just really weird. But at the same time, again, very fascinating, weird dude. Also from down south. Sweet. Made fun of that for a while, but I'm taking a back seat to that.
Where is he? Tennessee?
He's in Kentucky, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just interesting. Like everyone's got like a different perspective on that.
Oh my God, how many times are they show this replay?
What do you think about the Amazon Prime broadcast in general? Like, do you guys like it? I mean, I'm kind of like Al Michaels is what do you think?
I mean, Al Michaels is a you know, it's classic. Al Michaels is classic. You know what? And I thought I actually really like Kirk Herbstreit too. I mean, I watch him on when he's doing college games.
Sure.
The guy's really, I mean, the guy knows his stuff, man. I don't mind that Amazon Prime. The games have been trash.
Yeah, they have.
But like, I think
Yeah,
last week's game wasn't bad. And this one's shaping up to be, you know, pretty
Probably the best one.
It's a tied score with 30 seconds left in the half. Yeah, man.
You're ahead of me here. I need to go live.
Well, it's 37 seconds. So I got it on the TV.
How dare you?
Yeah, I mean,
iPad's not cutting it.
who'd have thought the Texans would be going
Yeah,
toe-to-toe with the Eagles?
who'd have thought until they get blown out in the second half, you know, they get the break speed off them.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of the Amazon Prime so far. I mean, personally, I'm a cable cutter guy. I don't have cable, so I get all this stuff through streaming apps anyway. So it just makes my life easier that I don't have to like take like my parents' cable information and type it into an app. Like that's what I do with half of these. I got my own Amazon Prime, so that's easy for me. But I think the presentation's awesome. I think they do a really good job with it. like I said, Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit's had a couple hiccups along the way, but I think overall he's a good announcer. He's good at his job. He's kind of, I don't know, I feel like he's not as knowledgeable in the NFL as some of these other guys, so he's still kind of trying to catch himself up with it. I've caught him a few times messing up there, but I think they do a really good job. I think it's just a really good looking presentation.
Yeah, I also think that Kirk's got a good grasp of, because he's watched a lot of these guys all through their college career.
Mm-hmm.
So a guy like Jalen Hurts, they were talking earlier, and he's like, Kirk did his first game.
Yeah,
so,
that's cool.
The longer this goes on, Kirk's seen all these guys work their way through college and now into the pros. So he'll be able to kind of go into a lot of their, history and their backstory and stuff like that, because he's been there and he's seen it. So yeah, he may not be as, super knowledgeable about, whatever Tom Brady's been doing the past 2 or 3 years, but no one gives a shit.
No, you're right. That's a great point.
The next gen stats thing has me a little thrown off, with all, it's like the glow puck in hockey for me.
Okay.
It's like, it's too much. It's like, there's too much on TV for me to try and follow that.
Is that optional though?
It is. It's the Prime Vision. You get that.
Okay.
The stats and all that stuff. You can actually just watch the regular national broadcast. The Prime Vision is almost like you're playing Madden. I just turned it on right now, and it's highlighting guys, and it's showing kind of routes and dotted lines and all this other stuff. It's a lot to follow, but you can watch the national broadcast, and it's just like watching a regular game.
Interesting. Okay. Look at me. Look at you guys. And we can watch it in Spanish. Ay, Dios mío, I love it.
Or you can watch it with some dudes who look like they might be wrestlers and a boy band. I don't know who Dude Perfect is.
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, everyone's doing that now. I'm not saying that I was innovative with this at all, but a long time ago, before I even got on Twitter with you guys, I did we used to me and my buddies used to put the game on and literally just shut it down and call the game the way you see live stream with Manning cast and shit like that. And we would sometimes, yeah, sometimes we would record it and just show it to our buddies and shit like that. I think it was definitely pre-Twitter, just with shitty, what are those live cameras that used to come out. I'm old. I think Mason's probably around my age too. So we're the dinosaurs on
I like
on
how
pod.
You're just assuming that you and I are not even in the same ballpark.
It's the beard, man. I just feel I think you probably are, and I think we might have had this conversation already. I'm a terrible listener. So
I don't think we have. I don't really, honestly, I don't think we have. We've just skirted around it where you just call yourself old. Meanwhile, I just sit here being old.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Monty's being real quiet because I'm sure he's the youngest of all of us.
Of course he is.
Yeah,
He said, yeah.
But I don't know, man. I'm in the weird middle point where there's so many 16-year-olds to 18-year-olds on this app,
God.
and then I definitely don't fuck with those. Not a bad way. It's not that I don't like them, but I just can't with half those. So I much prefer to talk to Giants fans who've been around for a while and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have two very diametric if you look at my Twitter feed, it's Giants, horror movie, Giants.
Yeah.
And then Hub in some weird shit.
We missed it. Missed the kick. Love it. Fuck the Eagles.
All
right, tied at halftime. Have to say, I was having dinner at a work function before we got here, and someone said, "What do you think about the game?" I said, "Short week." I said, "Texans got a chance. If this was on a Sunday, they get their ass kicked. But short week is anything can happen. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be right. I didn't bet on it, that's for sure." Okay, I want to hear some Giants opinions on this. Let's get to it. Mason, you when we were messaging back and forth, you brought up the fact that you're really into the cap and kind of have a really good grasp on that. So I'm curious, what your thoughts are. I think the thing that we're seeing. Well, first off, where there was talk on Julian Love getting an extension. My first question to you would be, what does that look like, or what do you think it would look like? And then the second question is more broad, and it's not the topic of the day. There's no change my mind situation. You can say anything you want. I'm curious what your thoughts are about what would be if Daniel Jones gets re-signed and Saquon situation, so those kind of three just kind of all encompassing. I gave you like 27 questions. Your thoughts?
Dude, I've been thinking about this for like 2 months already. Because the Giants are going into this. Shit, hold on.
He's getting a call from Shane right now.
Mason, I need your help, man. I gotta bring up. We gotta move a bunch of money around for OBJ. How do I do this?
Mason was Edelman's computer guy. No, I'm kidding.
Computer.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I've been thinking about this for like 2 months, man. I mean, the team's going into next year with about 55, 60 somewhere gross, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take 25 off the top for, and that's being conservative. I mean, shit, just this year we got 4 million in practice squad, right? We got, 10, ideally 10 million for the season, about 8 to 10 for the draft class, and then you got to make room for incentives, right? And if you follow what Shane's saying, he's probably going to use incentives in his deals, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think something like in the 8 to 10 APY for, Julian Love is right, in terms of overall numbers. The question is does he do it over 3 or over 4, right? Because he doesn't really want to use void years. And the question is do you go 3 or 4?
So if he goes 4, does that give more cap relief? And you I'm not saying void years, but you kick the can down the road a little bit? Because I'm a dummy. I don't know this shit. Talk to me.
So if you look at it as, let's
Mason,
say,
real quick, and Smooth and I are barely literate. Okay.
Yes.
Explain what a void year is, because there's a lot of people out there right now who like to use that term void year, but they
don't know what they're talking about.
They don't know what they mean. They don't know what they're talking about. It's something that they heard on one of these talking head sports shows, and they don't know what it means, but they like to throw that word around a lot. Explain to us, like I'm 7, what a void year is. I can't see what you just wrote, Smooth.
Yeah, I guess you wrote there, Smith. Yeah, I think you got to put it in front of you.
Damn it, there it is. What's a void year?
Basically, it's just a fancy accounting term for saying I'm putting this much money in this year, and that's it.
Okay.
So if you have, let's say, a contract that's like, let's take, Leonard Steele this year, right? All he did was he flipped base salary into signing bonus, and for cap accounting purposes, he just put $6.5 million of it into 2024's cap. That's all he did. So all he's saying is I'm putting $6.5 million worth of money into 24. That's it.
Okay.
That's all he's doing. Leonard isn't under contract in 2024. That's it. That's all he's doing.
So would that be dead cap then at that point, or is it just
that would be dead cap in 2024?
Okay.
Correct.
Unless, of course, he extends him, and then that goes. They basically tear up the old contract and they start a new one.
Bingo. They can rewrite that into something else.
Right.
So, like, if you let's say you take Julian Love, right? Next year, we're talking about potentially having, say, assuming Leonard doesn't get cut, assuming, KG doesn't get cut and that sort of thing, you've got $30 million to work with in space for next year in terms of money being allocated. So if you have a 4-year deal that's worth $32 million, forget all the guarantees. Let's say you do, that's $8 million a year, right? If you do, say, $3 million in year 1, you still have $29 million over 3 years that you have to allocate, right?
Right.
You can allocate it evenly.
Or you can do like a weird sliding scale.
Exactly. So how you structure it doesn't matter. Ideally, what you want to do is, you want to try and front load some of the stuff and then backload some of the other deals. So that way you have an even balance of the two, right? Like when the Niners signed Jimmy Garoppolo, they had a ton of cap space that year. They had a cap hit of like $47 or $50 million for him that first year. And that was what, 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that at that time, that was a huge cap hit for a QB. Today, we're seeing $50 million like it's nothing. So it just depends on how you go about allocating it, right? So, let's say you do a smaller cap hit, you backload a little bit of it. The longer the deal is, the less of that adjustment you have to make, if that makes sense. Because if
It's that kicking the can down the road thing.
yes,
It's less of that.
Right, because if you're only compressing, let's say you do that 332 deal, you're only taking $5 million of that $8 million that should have been allocated next year, and spreading it out over 3 years as opposed to only 2, right? So if you do a 324, what happens is you got $2.5 million each year that you have to, of that 5 million that you have to put into 24 and 25, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Right. So it's, you're spreading just a little bit more over that period. But, the idea is, again, it's a matter of how you put it together and how you structure the guarantees into it. Now, with Daniel Jones, let's say, a couple different ways you could do it is, do you guys remember Neil O'Donnell?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So remember that game, that one year where he threw like 6 touchdown passes the first game of the season?
I don't, but I'll take your word for it.
So it's something stupid like that. He threw like 6 touchdown passes the first game of the season. I think it was actually against the Lions, coincidentally. And he hit like a $4 million incentive. That incentive was considered not likely to be earned because the prior year he had only thrown 4 because he had been injured or something like that, or benched. I forget what the deal was. So the way the contract was written was, if you throw more than 4 TDs this year, you get like a $5 million bonus. That $5 million bonus didn't count towards that year because it was considered not likely to be earned.
Okay.
So it was counted towards the following year's cap. So if he doesn't hit it, that incentive doesn't count the following year.
Right.
If he hits it, it gets counted the following year, right?
Right. Against the cap.
Right, against the cap, correct. Right. But he gets paid in that year.
Right.
Year. So from a cash standpoint, in terms of like cash payments, yeah, he's getting paid the year, in that year, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
So with, like DJ, let's say they do a $15 million guaranteed deal, right? Fully guaranteed deal for next year.
Okay.
We do I don't know, let's say he finishes up with 3,000 yards, right? Let's say, okay, you got to throw 3,100 yards in passes and you get a $10 million bonus. You throw, instead of, I don't know, 15, 20 TDs that he might end up with this year.
Yeah.
You got to throw a few more TDs and you get another $10 million. Whatever.
Mason's a genius.
Yeah.
You start.
No, but Mason, I'm not cutting you off. Like, I think the premise of this is, like, if Shane wants to bring him back, didn't even think about this. Like, this is why these collabs are so cool, because if we really kind of are in the camp that Daniel Jones earns a contract for next year, right, and beyond, there will probably be these escalators in the contract, right?
Right. And this is not something that's ever talked about. Like when you
see
guys on Twitter talk about contracts.
What are you going to give him? What are you going to give him, Sarge? 6 years, 240?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you could do something like a roster bonus, say in 24, right?
Yep.
That says, hey, you're on the roster day 5 of the new league year. Guess what? You get $5 million, right?
Love it. Yep.
So it just depends on how you start packaging it, how you start putting it together. It's something that he could do with Saquon as well, if he wants to do a longer term deal with Saquon, right? Same thing with DJ around his injuries, right? So there are a lot of things that have to go into it. I mean, The one thing I've always said is, number one thing DJ has to do is be healthy. After that is all the other crap, right? Because if you can't be healthy, it doesn't matter if you throw for 5,000 yards, if you're not there in the playoffs, it doesn't make a difference, right?
No. It's totally fair.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's step 1. Step 2 is that.
That's so much sense. That makes so much sense.
With Saquon, or even with Julian Love, I mean, he could go the route of doing a non-exclusive tag, right? Chances are, somebody bites on Saquon at the non-exclusive tag number, which is about 12 to 13 million, right? That's what, 2 first-round picks, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'll say that. Is anyone going to pay 2 first-round picks to get Saquon from us?
So, and I think, the question is does somebody want to sacrifice that for Saquon, right?
I don't think so. I can see it. Not a lot of players are worth 2 first-round picks that aren't quarterbacks.
Exactly. And that's why the Roquan Smith move was so brilliant by DeCosta in Baltimore, right?
We can hear you, man.
Oh, you can?
We got you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Probably.
Right. So the shit's all fucked up. So you got so with DeCosta, right? He pays a 2 and a 5 for Roquan, right? He could do the non-exclusive tag on Roquan. Somebody might be willing to actually be stupid enough to give two first-round picks for an inside linebacker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the guy goes basically just lets him walk, and he gets a third back, on a deal. And he paid a 2 and a 5 to get a 3 back, and maybe
probably need the tag for Lamar though, right? I mean, unless they can get the deal done. But
the interesting thing with both Roquan and Lamar is they're both self-represented.
That's true.
I didn't know Roquan was too. But
yeah.
Okay, can we pause for a second? I literally, Mason leaned forward and he came in the light a little more, and I literally saw a famous actor that I think everybody has seen at least a couple of the things he's been in. He's been in 3 major shows. Sarge, first, who do you think this person is? And he sounds like him too. No bullshit.
Bit. I got nothing, man. What do you
think, Monty? Anything?
I feel like there's something there, but I'm not
I don't know how your
name. So even if I had it, I probably wouldn't be able to give it to you.
All right. So Mason, before I say who I think you look like, and it may not be a doppelganger, but it's fucking close, especially with the voice too. Has anyone ever told you look like a specific person, or am I full of shit?
I've heard the dude from Game of Thrones.
Are you talking about Pedro Pascal?
Pedro Pascal, Mandalorian,
the Mandalorian,
Narcos. Are you kidding me?
I've heard him. I've heard the dude in Stranger Things, Steve.
Yeah, okay, I can see that too. Absolutely.
And then the other one that I used to get a lot was I'm drawing a blank on the Hulk. The Hulk guy.
Eric Bana.
Yeah. No, not Eric Bana.
New. See, I'm old. Yeah. See? Old.
Yeah.
Old,
no,
old,
not
old.
No. Are you talking about Bill Bixby?
No.
I didn't think so.
He's talking about the dude that's the Hulk now. That's
Ed Norton.
No. Now you're just being cheeky. Don't do that.
No, I'm not Ed Norton. Oh God.
The fuck's
in
his
Marvel.
Name? Yeah. I can't think of his name yet. He's been in a million movies too.
God damn it.
Oh,
Monty, help me out here.
I'm trying. I'm about to. I'm trying.
Look it up, Monty. Jesus.
I'm about to.
What's his name?
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. I've heard him a few times. I'm like, I don't see it, but whatever.
No, I don't see that one. The Pedro Pascal one, it was like as soon as you leaned forward and then he started talking more, I was like, holy shit, this is the dude from Narcos. And then I found out he was the Mandalorian voice, and I was like, what the fuck? Like,
he was the Mandalorian. He's the Mandalorian.
He's the Mandalorian, yeah.
He's the guy.
No, I know, but you don't see his face. I'm saying like
you
to
do,
hear it.
But later.
90% of the fucking time. No, I don't fucking watch it. I did not watch it.
Why not?
Because actually, speaking of that, I'm trying to place Monty right now, and I can't.
Oh, we're doing this now. I like it.
No, I'm really trying to place him, and I'm drawing a blank on the show. Oh, God.
I think he works at Sapphires. On
hey,
Saturday
wait
a minute.
Nights.
Pedro Pascal was not in Game of Thrones.
He was.
No,
100% was.
I think that's the other guy. It was a different guy. Hold on, I'm looking.
You were so wrong, sir. He was Oberon.
Oh, that's right. He was. Yeah. Never mind.
I'm a Game of Thrones nerd, so I know this shit. I'm not a Star Wars nerd, so I love it. I love when the guys on Twitter call me either a geek or a nerd. I'm like, thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
I am. I mean, I am. Like
I was a nerd back when it wasn't cool to be a nerd. So let's
exactly. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm glad I got that out of the way. No, Mason, honestly, dude, like those comments are so needed. But the problem is like those aren't Twitter comments. Those are full length podcast.
That's a very
conversations.
that's a we have to have a very long conversation about this. So
And
Monty, I'm
yeah.
gonna throw it down to Monty because he's way too quiet.
What we got?
And I haven't talked to him since he burned the life out of himself on Revival. There's my guy.
Still got the box.
You gonna do it again? No, I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
Wait, what happened? What happened?
Oh, Monty did the one chip
explain.
challenge when we
I did
hosted New York
the
Revival.
one. You ever see the one chip challenge?
Oh yeah. Oh, dude,
He,
yeah.
Oh,
he
it was
ate it at
miserable.
the beginning of the show, and we made him sit through the whole show.
I was
and
just crying.
It was funny.
just crying the entire time. It was best, absolute fabulous content. Monty, we love it. We love it. So hey, man, I wanted to get your opinion on our newest wide receiver acquisition.
Was it Hodgins?
Yeah, man. How are you feeling about that?
I liked him a lot coming out. Well, I like following the draft stuff, and he's a real big wide receiver, strong hands. If you watched him in college, he was one of those guys that always was out there on Saturday making like that big like one-handed play, reach over a guy and grab a ball. And I put out a tweet like, "Hey, we got this new wide receiver, Zay Hodgins, the highlight." But it picked up a little steam, which means some Bills fans were responding to it. And I can't tell you how many Bills fans had responding to me that were like, you guys like got a good one. You guys lucked out. Like we have too much wide receiver depth on this team. We shouldn't have let him go, but I'm happy he's going to get a chance. I didn't get a single bad word from any Bills
I
fan.
saw lots of W's from Bills fans in a lot of comments. And
Bills fans were like, he's the best wide receiver.
I'll tell you what, the next biggest endorsement for that is my father-in-law is a Bills fan because he's from Buffalo. I got a text almost as soon as I saw the news. He's like, "You guys just stole another one." Because he was on me about Shane and Dable.
I think geez, there's some company right there.
Yeah.
I think he could be like what we were hoping Colin Johnson was going to be this preseason. I liked him a lot more, and I like Colin Johnson coming out. Colin Johnson, he just wasn't as much a receiver. He was a big guy. He was athletic, but he didn't really he didn't play the position as well as I thought Hodgins did. I thought Hodgins plays the position extremely well. And even like people say slow, he runs a 4.61. Like that's not the fastest receiver in the world, but that's right on the cusp of what you want a receiver. Anywhere between in that like 4-5 area, high or low, is where most of these wide receivers in the NFL play at. And 4.61 is right on the cusp of that.
What did Ed McCaffrey run? Like back in the day?
I'm trying. There was a whole different level of speed back then. I don't know.
Like he wasn't like he doesn't. I don't remember him being that fast either.
I'm not sure. His son's how fast.
Right. He passed that along. I wonder how fast is mom? How fast is Christian McCaffrey's mom? Because freaking Easy Ed was slow as shit.
Let's see. Ed McCaffrey's 40 time was 4.69.
Yeah, that's what she said. No, yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay,
I'll tell you a quick 40 story. Like, this is why I don't like 40s are great. Like, not these 40s, guys. Take it easy. 40 times are great, but in Greensboro, they have a place called Prolific Park. That's Ricky Prohl's place, Prolific Park. And he does combines, regional combines for folks. And I forget what year it was. It was in the last 10 years, obviously. Keenan Allen is from Greensboro, went to one of the high schools around here, and he did his pro day there. And so I snuck in. I walked in. The media was like, "Who are you here with?" And at this point, no bullshit, I was freelance writing college basketball for Sports Carolina Monthly. And I just went, Sports Carolina Monthly. And she was like, "Oh, here's your packet." So I got a packet and I went and sat down and just opened it up. And it was Keenan Allen and a bunch of other undrafted guys that were in the area. And so Giants people were there. I saw, what's his name, that's no longer with the Raiders, that was on NFL, Mike Mayock. I think he was with the NFL Network doing a report for them. And so talked to a bunch of people. It was fun, like a lot of scouts. And he ran a 4.74. How good is Keenan Allen? If he's hurt, if he's healthy, fucking guy's a 1 or a 2 in the league. So 40s are great of all kinds of shapes and sizes. But if you can catch, if you can run routes, if you're a technician, you have good hands. hey, guess what? You still need to fucking catch the ball. You still need to have contested catches. You're not always going to be open. So I'm all for a guy that's that big and can get open on our team for sure. Maybe a little faster than Kenny Galladay.
I think Jerry Rice ran like a 4.6 too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and Hodges isn't necessarily a guy who's going to like beat you with a route run or anything, but he was one of the better contested catch guys in college. So I mean, I know that all we heard about with Galladay. Hopefully, he's not cooked like Galladay. He's only 25 years old. But
Jerry Rice was a 4.71.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I remember that
Jerry Rice was a 4.71.
People back then were like, "Oh, he's way too slow. This, that, the other, whatever. This, that."
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's not always about speed.
It's not always about the underwear Olympics.
That's right.
It's about, what you
if
do.
If you're great at the rest of the things, then it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, game speed matters. Yeah. Game speed matters.
Like Kayvon didn't even run Kayvon even run the 40?
Nope.
I think,
and I wouldn't consider him.
He did something. He did something at the combine. I remember.
I want to say you ran the 40. I want to say you ran the 40.
He ran the 40, but
he didn't do the position drills.
Individual drill. Yeah.
Did he? Okay.
Because he was waiting for his pro day.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And that's what blew everybody up. I'm like, oh, he's gonna.
Yeah,
thanks for that.
Do
we got
line and linebacker drills,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, he's too good to do position drills.
Nothing makes me laugh more than, and it'll happen again when we get to draft time. It's going to happen
every year, yeah.
But when we get to draft time.
I remember I was saying it at the time where I was like, they did the same thing with Chase Young when he got shut out in the bowl game. They did the same thing with Nick Bosa. They do them every single year with one of these pass rushers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I was going to say is that's 100%. I mean, it's all misinformation. They want to fuck with each other, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But my favorite thing is when a guy I think Mason proved how smart he is about the cap. So if someone tells you that they're like a cap expert, maybe believe them. But what makes me laugh sometimes is when you get a guy who makes an outlandish thing. It's like, someone in college that is obviously going to be a really good pro, unless something happens, and they're like, yeah, I never liked him. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. There's absolutely no way that you saw something that everyone else did that missed.
Dude, I like Dwayne Haskins. I like Dwayne Haskins.
Everybody did. Everybody did.
And I'll admit to that. I don't like Ohio State quarterbacks at all, but I like Dwayne Haskins, even though he was a one-year starter. I broke all my rules for the motherfucker, and it is
hell. I know when I admit I was wrong. I watched every single BYU game with Zach Wilson, and I thought he was amazing.
Do you get to swear during BYU games, or is that not allowed?
Well, I do because I was at home.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, do you live in Utah?
I don't. No. I live in Colorado, but
closer than us.
Yeah, a lot closer than you guys. But the funny thing is because CSU and CU both were in Mountain West in that time. All of the Mountain West games are always all over the TV out here because it's like, and Zach Wilson started popping up when everybody else was talking about, the other big quarterbacks that same year. And I was like,
Manziel.
Don't sleep on Zach Wilson, man. This guy this guy can sling it because he was just crazy in college. Sure. And now it's like, oh, he went to the Jets. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
That was never a great sign.
Oh, buddy. Oh.
All right. So Monty, because we all went to where we were wrong. Give me a player that you were like, this fucking guy's going to be amazing, and you were completely dead ass wrong.
Completely dead ass wrong. I mean, there's a million of them. The first one that popped in my head when you guys were saying it, but a lot of us missed on this one was thought it was Chosen Rosen. I thought Rosen was gonna save New York. I thought they're gonna take him second overall. He's gonna be like a slower Aaron Rodgers. I was all in on him. And there's quarterbacks I like. Like I liked Haskins. I liked a few, but Rosen is, as if I stacked up these QB classes where I had him, Rosen's probably top 3 over the last 7 years or so. I loved Rosen.
Okay, I got you all beat. Are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
He's gonna
I'm
say
a
like
sh-
Marcus Russell or some shit like that.
No. Although
he wrote it
I-
down. It's so bad. He doesn't even want to say it out loud.
No, I was writing your guys down because I was going to
Oh.
post it. Now I'm fucking with you. All right, so I was at a party. This guy's a huge Auburn guy, and it wasn't nobody from Auburn. It wasn't like Cam Newton or someone like really good. They're playing Penn State, and he goes, "You know who's going to be a sure thing?" And I agreed with it, and I remember repeating it, being like, "Oh yeah, Christian Hackenberg."
Oh,
Without a doubt.
man.
Yeah.
You guys
So
remember
bad.
when you guys
I
remember
just
when Mo
hate Penn
Kiper
State,
said he'd
so-
quit his job if Jimmy Clausen wasn't
That's a good one too. Yeah,
Yeah.
back?
Jimmy
Still
Clausen.
out
that's
there.
fantastic.
Oh man.
Oh my god!
Right.
But I'll never forget that as long as I live. Christian Hackenberg, that's gonna be the number one pick in the draft, and I was like, yeah, he's fucking great.
Yeah.
Second round pick out of the league, almost as fast as he was drafted. One of my favorites. All right, so I have this question for everybody, and this is a fun question. It's sports related. It deals with the sports family dynasties. Okay, if you could be a brother of or be into a family of someone that's been a sports dynasty, and I have a list of a few, who would you want to be? Okay, there's some obvious ones, right? The Mannings, you got the Longs, Chris, Howie, Kyle. You have the Barrys, John Barry, like he had 5 sons in the NBA. The Balls, who are now in the NBA, Lonzo Ball and those guys. I wouldn't call them a dynasty yet, but they're getting close. You have, who else do we have in that list? The Gronkowskis, the Watts, some options. And if you have one that I'm not thinking of, feel free to go outside of the box. If doesn't matter who goes first. I just think that's a really interesting one. Like we're in, and I know I stack ranked my top 3. Like if I had a choice, like who would it be? But if you had to pick one, who would it be? Sarge, you're up.
Oh, that's tough, man, because I don't have the nose for a Manning. And I don't have any of those. I don't have any of those quarter zip, those fancy quarter zip sweaters either.
But you're in the family; they'll get you one.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well, let's see. I live about an hour from Peyton.
Okay.
Because he's still living in Denver. Honestly, you know what, man? I would say a couple of dudes who, and this is gonna get me ostracized, probably. A couple of dudes who look like they have a lot of fun together. I kind of would say a Kelsey.
Ooh.
I was about to say
Those
a guilty pleasure of mine.
Travis
Man,
and
I like
Jason.
Jason Kelsey. I
Jason,
hate
man,
that I like
and
him.
I like it, man. Those guys look like they have a lot of fun.
I've seen clips from their podcast.
Yeah, their podcast. I mean,
Good.
like when the guys are on bye weeks, they're at each other's games, or if it's like if they can swing it, they're at each other's games. Their mom shows up. She'll like somebody's playing Sunday morning, and then someone's playing Sunday night. You'll see her in the crowd on both games. So yeah, man. I mean, a Kelsey might not be a bad thing.
Not bad.
Got the beard.
Mason.
And the beard.
So I went to college in New Orleans, and
Okay.
I was at Tulane and everything. Back then, we could actually drink at 18 in New Orleans. So it's kind of like the Mannings are kind of cool, whatever. Actually, one of the funniest stories that I remember hearing about the Mannings was when Danny Werfel and Peyton Manning were being drafted. There was a story about who you would want to take your daughter out, like if you're a dad. And they're like, listen, Danny comes from like a military family. He's going to be back like at curfew. Peyton, he's from New Orleans. You don't know what the fuck's going to happen. I'd have to say that or the Longs, because it's like just being around being around a group of guys and just getting your ass beat like every day by your brothers, it would just be fun. Like it would just be fun to just fucking pile on each other all the time, like nonstop, getting yourself in and out of trouble. That to me would be a lot of fun, so that's where I would go with it.
Okay. Monty, you're going Kelsey's too, or
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one as far as being a part of it, that was the one I was thinking. They're just guys. I feel like they're just would be easy to get along with. They just feel like guys who are just happen to be very good at sports.
yeah,
But one just popped in my head, not necessarily be a part of it, but the crazy level that Marvin Harrison is a Hall of Fame wide receiver, and now his son is a best wide receiver in football right now. That's like 5 inches taller and plays like Randy Moss. That's absolutely fucking nuts. What's gonna come
That
next?
guy,
after
that guy's gonna look real good in giant blue coming
Let's
in
hope.
2024.
Let's hope, man.
Not quite as good as Jalen Hyatt's gonna look, but
Oh yes. Let's go. Let's go, UT. I think you have to think about it in a couple different ways. Like you guys all made good points. I think it's any of these families would be cool to be a part of. The Longs are a good one, but the one thing I'd be like nervous about, and thank God I'm married, but like growing up, right? You're like you bring a girl home and it's like she wants to fuck your dad, dude. Like, and everybody I mean, like, are you kidding? Like he's fucking Howie Long, 6'5". I also think about it too. Like all of these families, the exception of the Mannings, are like physically just imposing people. The Gronkowskis, the Longs. Like, where would any of us be? I don't know. Some of you are sitting down. I'm just saying, I'm 5'10", like 200 pounds. Like they'd be like, oh, look at little Mark over there. Look how sweet he is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they'd be like, I'd have my helmet on backwards. They'd be kicking the shit out of you. Like it would just be a difficult thing. So for that reason alone, I think I can hang with the Mannings. I think I'm like maybe as athletic as Eli. Can't throw a ball like him, but I think like I could hang with them like from a physical standpoint, even though they're taller than me. But Jesus Christ, dude, if you're with the Gronkowskis or the Longs, A, you're not getting any chicks. B, every girl you brought home is basically not going to want to be with you anymore. And B, you just are like the runt of the family, essentially. At least they have what's the third Manning brother that doesn't play? Because yes, Cooper. Like I'm the sickly brother. That's who I.
Yeah, but
like,
Cooper's really funny.
Cooper's got like.
Cooper's really funny.
Yeah.
That would be my role. Like they'd be like, oh, look, the little funny fucker here. Yeah, that's cool. Like that's what you'd have to be. Like there's no way you could.
I would hope that I got some of the Howie genes, though. Like
that's true.
I would be the smart ass because I'm only 5'7", Mark. So I'd be the smart ass short one, and then the minute someone tries to call me on my shit, just the twin towers just. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Oh, we're having a little misunderstanding. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
No, that's that.
I mean, I do have a younger brother who's 6'2", so.
What's that like? Jesus.
He was actually a defensive lineman in high school, so.
Man.
Yeah.
I didn't have a brother.
And then he went to nursing school, so that was even funnier. Because
there you go.
So.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. He picks people. He's like, can you pick this guy up and put him on the other bed? He's like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I'm 6'1", so I've never had to worry about height too much.
Yeah, I'm 6 foot.
So Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Thanks, guys. Jesus, guys, why don't you fucking rub it into the non-6 footers?
I know. Come on.
Good God. What do they call that now? You would be ableist? Like you think you're fucking better than me? What's your 40 time?
Yeah, no. Huh? Oh God, no.
6'2".
Yeah. No, not the height. Not the height. No.
Yeah, I wrote a 6 just like my height.
Oh man, that's something that I want to be. I will literally spend money to be a part of next year. When I watched the New York Revival guys join like Justin and Bobby for the John Boy Media thing, the John Boy Media
Combine.
Yeah. That is awesome. I don't give a shit if I tear a hamstring. I
have 4 steel pins in my knee. I ain't running no fucking 40.
Love it. Love it. All right. Last topic because we've been on almost an hour. I don't want anyone to be like, this is really long, guys. Let's do one more thing. If anyone has a topic they want to add to it, fine. But I was going to ask you guys, we're 6-2. definitely not a thing that I don't think anybody that tells you that they told you they were going to be 6-2 this year, I think is lying, or they're just being kind of the ultimate optimist. Where do you think we end up during our bye week? What's our final record prediction? I know that's kind of an easy one. You can give me reasons why. You can pontificate for a little bit and go off on that. Mason, what you think?
I think they fit. Honestly, I think the more tape they have on the team, the harder it's going to be to execute. And I just think the team's limitations are such that, unless something happens that we're not, seeing with, the Hodgins edition, like all of a sudden Kenny Galladay coming back and turning into something. And things really all of a sudden opening up and DJ hitting some of these throws that, everybody's talking about that 39 decision where he didn't throw the ball deep to Galladay, right? And he went and it's like, well, all right, does he start taking that throw more, right? Are we going to start seeing more of, this, progression that we've seen from him or, appears to what we're seeing from him, is that going to continue or not? Right. If that continues and these guys can actually move the ball, then yeah, it could get wild. But realistically, I mean, I thought high side we were going to be 9-8. Realistically, I thought they were going to be 7-10 for the year. I thought at this stage to get to 9-8, I thought they might have to be 4-4. So they're 6-2 right now. I think there's a very realistic possibility they go 3-6 the rest of the way. I mean, we've got some hard games. We got 2 against Philly. We got 1 in Dallas. We got Minnesota. Those are 4 games that are probably L's, right?
Yep.
And then I forget who else we got in there, but one.
I got the schedule up here, so
yep.
And split the Commanders, let's say, right?
Okay.
That gets us to 3-6, and I think they finished 9-8, 10-7, somewhere in that range.
Fair enough. I have a feeling we may have someone to disagree with on that one. I feel like Sarge is looking at me.
Well, no, I mean, like I'm right around there. I'm like 11-6, like right around there. Okay, so we have
what?
Texans, Lions. Those are wins. Okay. Cowboys depends on what happens in the next 4 weeks because that's Thanksgiving, so we'll see how that goes. Commanders, Eagles, Commanders, Vikings, Colts, Eagles. So 5-4 through the rest of the season. That's what
11-6.
11-6.
Yeah, 11-6. Yeah,
11-6. Okay. We're going to win the games we're supposed to win. We might sneak one here or there, but I really don't think. I mean, the Texans are looking pretty damn good tonight, but they don't know how to tackle. So, we're gonna eat next week. It's gonna be an ugly game. This might be one of those games where we come out and smack the crap out of somebody.
Slow down.
Should have Bellinger back by Detroit. So not next week, but the week after is what I'm hearing now.
Optimistically, I think.
So optimistically,
who are you hearing?
I really hope he's got like either some wicked scar or like a metal plate in his face because I need a tight end with a lot of nasty. Like I want Jeremy Shockey, Mark Bavaro. Give me a nasty tight end.
He's got that little Justin Tuck face.
Bellinger needs
the shredder mask.
He needs some full arm tattoos and
he's just gonna come out looking like Bane. Sleeveless.
Just
I love it.
Yeah. So 11-6. We're gonna do this.
Monty?
Yeah, so I mean the line that Vegas set at this point is 10.5, and I think that's right about the line that I have trouble trying to go which way it's gonna go. If things go right, I would say 11. Cautiously, probably 10. So the way I'm looking at this is the way I go into every season when I'm predicting these division games. I think I always just go 3-3. You go 3-3 sometime. Maybe you'll take 2 against Washington. You only pull 1 other. Maybe Washington will get the best of you, but you get the best of the division game. Division games, you never know. It doesn't matter how good one team is and how bad the other team is. You guys play each other twice a year. Usually you get some parity in these games. So I like to call those about 3-3. So let's say we don't have one yet, so we get 3 wins added on to what we have already. So we're at 9 there. I think we can win these. I mean, and obviously that takes trying to get a Cowboys or one of these Eagles and beating Washington twice. That's tough. We don't know if that's going to happen. So, but that's usually how I'll call it. So optimistically, that's where I put it. And then Lions, Texans, I think we should beat those. I don't think either of them have showed anything this season. We thought that could be a win before the season. We should feel even better about it now. So I'll call those wins. So yeah, let me call 11 because I think Colts is a winnable game.
My man.
I think we probably lose to the Vikings. But yeah,
Christmas Eve, no less.
I don't know if it's a primetime game that could end in a tie.
That's true. Hopefully they make it a prime time. Yeah,
if they flex it.
If they flex
that would be painful.
Yeah. Okay. I like everyone's. I'm gonna get everyone's confirmation, and we're gonna post.
What's the over under on Kadarius Toney playing games for the Kansas City Chiefs the rest of the way?
Oh, it's gonna be like,
I know he's gonna. I have a feeling he'll play this week.
Oh yeah, he
right?
is.
Tear every ligament in his body, and then be on IR for the rest of the season.
I don't even care.
I don't
even care.
He's going to get 150 yards and then tear his hamstring and not.
Yeah, he's gonna have at least one big game for them, and then get.
Giants Twitter's going to go nuts.
He's going to have one catch. He's going to catch the ball, turn and make a football move. Who's Kansas City even playing this week? Anybody know? Doesn't matter. He's going to get creamed by some defensive player and just shatter into a million pieces. Like every ligament and tendon in his body is just going to shred.
And then young Joka is going to drop. Boom.
And it's just going to be. They're going to have to cart him off the field.
Okay.
I don't even care.
I like it. I don't even care.
It'll probably go slightly better than DeAndre Baker went for them. Maybe a little bit.
I mean, a little bit. So
honestly, I hope he does well out there. I hope he does well.
Oh, aren't you cute? No.
I really don't at all care.
No, that's really sweet. But this is not a sweet show.
I hope he gets.
Hopefully, I can sell. He has one good game, and I can sell him in fantasy, and then root against him for the rest.
There you go.
There you go.
I like it.
Now, speaking of the Vols, man, I have to say Hendon Hooker's looking pretty good this year.
Hendon Hooker
Greensboro.
is legit.
That's why I got the shirt, because I'm in Greensboro and my mother-in-law lives in Knoxville. She sent it to me. They're selling them there.
And how about those Darkness Falls?
Oh my God, dude.
Last week for Halloween. Oh my God,
bro. Those jerseys,
dude.
they were selling them
earlier in the year. They had these cool ass like gray ones. Those were badass.
Those were fire too. Yep. Yeah. When Tennessee's good, it's one of the fucking coolest places to be. It's the jerseys, what they do. Like Rocky Top is no joke. I've been there. It's incredible.
So I have to say, like, I really didn't start watching Tennessee football until this year because you know what I did is I watched the game that was it Anthony Richardson. I watched him play against Tennessee, and when I'm like, who the fuck is this quarterback for Tennessee? This Hendon Hooker dude is legit. And now I don't miss a game, man. I'm watching every single Tennessee game. I could care less what Anthony Richardson.
That Tennessee-Alabama game was fucking incredible.
Oh my God. I can't wait till this weekend because I'm a huge Georgia Bulldogs fan. I have been a Georgia
Are you really?
I am. I'm a huge Bulldogs fan, but you know what? This week, I'm like, I can't root for or against either one, man, because it's just going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be a hell of a game.
Okay, real quick. This is. I'm going to give you a score prediction for that game.
Okay.
Everyone goes around the board, and then we're going to sign off.
Sounds like a plan.
So it's because it's basically 1 versus 2. I don't give a shit. Ohio State sucks balls.
Fuck
so
Ohio State.
We got. I'm picking Tennessee.
Oh, I know that.
The reason why I'm picking them, though, is not because Hendon Hooker went to high school like a mile from here. But I think that Georgia lost their best defensive player. Nolan Smith is out for the year. He's their best edge rusher. It'd be like if the Cowboys all of a sudden lost Micah Parsons, and they'd be like, oh, fuck, now we can't get to the quarterback. So they definitely don't. This is not a vintage Georgia team that won last year that had 5 first-round picks. They're not going to be able to stop Tennessee's offense. Tennessee's going to create a couple of turnovers, and they're going to win 38-27. What you got for me, Monty?
Yeah, I mean, obviously pretty close. So, yeah, I mean, to your point, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter has been, he's been knocked up or knocked out. He's been
knocked up.
Wow.
He's been hurt.
Breaking news.
He's been the same guy. Score I think it was 31-28, and maybe one of those final field goals like they did versus Alabama. I think we'll have another 3 touchdown game by Hyatt, and they pull it out. Hendon Hooker Heisman.
Let's go. Support your local hooker.
Mason, go ahead. Score prediction.
These SEC teams always have people ready to go, right? They always have they lose a pass rusher, they have another guy ready to go, right? Especially Georgia. Georgia always seems to have another guy ready to go. But I'm just gonna go with the hot hand, man. I'm gonna go with the hot hand. I'm actually gonna I'd see this thing going like 41-38, some like barn burn, like something fucking crazy, just like insane game. And everybody's gonna be like freaking out over this thing, like talking about this for like 3 weeks,
Yep.
I definitely see it. And I think that, I think Hendon Hooker, really, continues this progression that he's on, right?
Yep. So, and before I get to yours, what I'll say to that point about Georgia and SEC teams having like a lot of depth where they can plug people in, Alabama has the exact same thing. They just beat Alabama, although at home. But the difference with Georgia and Alabama this year is Bryce Young is Alabama's quarterback. And I know he was there last year. Stetson Bennett is not Bryce Young. And if he's being asked to score 7 touchdowns in this week's game, it's not going to end well for Georgia. That's my thing. Like if Georgia's defense can step up and a guy comes in to fits Nolan Smith's shoes and they create turnovers and they limit Tennessee's offense, I could see that being like a Georgia upside. But I don't see it. I just don't see that happening. But that's again here nor there. And I'm thinking with my heart too. I really do want Tennessee to win. I want my wife to be happy. I want my mother-in-law to be happy. Okay, guys, this is a very important thing for them.
Happy wife, happy life, bro.
That's right.
Georgia doesn't want to get into a shootout.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Piss on it, Sarge. Piss on that. Go ahead.
I can't even do it. Man. I can't even do it. I don't. And watching Georgia hasn't let a team score more than, what am I seeing? 22 points. 22 points all season, right? But like, how do you stop Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt? You can't.
Cedric Tillman.
You can't, man. I think it's actually going to be. This is actually going to be a probably a lot more low scoring than people think it is, because the Alabama Tennessee game was like 52-49 or something like that. Yeah,
right
this is going to be somewhere in the 30s. It's going to be like 35-31 or something like that. But I seriously think Tennessee hits this, and it really kind of cements Hendon Hooker's Heisman. Yeah, man. Like you beat Alabama, then Georgia
on the road.
You beat Alabama at home, and you beat Georgia between the hedges. This is going to be it's going to be a great game.
I'm excited. I'm very excited.
And when it's talking a little bit a minute ago about badass tight ends, Georgia's got a pair of them.
Oh, so, yeah.
If 3
Darnell Washington and Brock Bowers, those guys are just That's what you want to see, a tight end. It's like a defensive lineman who can catch a ball. That's what I want.
I'd love it if
Tennessee's got a good
I'd
kid
love it
too.
if the Giants drafted another tight end
Yeah,
and did what the Patriots did with
Bellinger
with,
and Gronk and
with Gronk and Hernandez and
right.
Without the murdering.
Without murder.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
Jason's like, do I have to fucking say without the murder?
no fucking
Yes.
OJs, okay?
By law, you have to say
No
without the
fucking
murder.
OJs. I mean, like,
Native Aaron
OJ,
Hernandez.
we're talking about Aaron Hernandez, who actually murdered people, and OJ, who also actually murdered people, but he wasn't a tight end; he was a running back.
same
Different
shit.
position. It's all about positional value.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Fun fact: I played in the same football conference as Aaron Hernandez did in high school.
And you lived to tell the tale.
I lived to tell. Well, he didn't. I wasn't. He was younger than me, guys. Take it easy. Yeah, I'm originally from Connecticut, and he's Bristol Central. That was one of our rivals. Where'd you go?
I went to Massac, Monroe, Connecticut.
Yeah, I know Monroe.
Casey Cochran, Jack Cochran's son played on my team as quarterback. Aaron Hernandez coach.
Okay. Yeah, I graduated in 1999. So
gotcha.
I
I was 2013.
Yeah. You think?
Yeah, I graduated in '93. So.
93.
Yeah. See what I'm saying,
Yeah,
baby?
Buddy.
No, so I went to Maloney. I'm originally from Meriden.
Okay.
Right in the center of the state, but I know Monroe. Yeah.
I was in West Haven in college.
Oh, look at us. Look at us. Everyone speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
We're all from different parts of Connecticut or some bullshit like that. Really appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot, guys.
Spend some time. And hey, catch y'all on the flip side.
Big Blue.
Let's go.
Let's go, buddy.
Let's see if we can. Let's just see if we can get off. I don't even know how to fucking do it. And ending now.
Yeah.